Hello, guys. So, welcome back to another episode of Asia Rugby Live, Real Talk, Real Rugby, where we talk to people from all over the world. Of course, rugby, and it's a brand new week. We have three new guests for the week. But before I introduce them, I would like to update everyone what's been happening in the rugby world. As probably some of you have known, that World Rugby has approved law trials to reduce corona risk, and uh, I think this is a positive one, as they have, number one, amongst all, remove scrum resets, taking away the option of a scrum for a penalty, a free kick, or when an attacker is held up in goal, reinforcing high tackle guidelines. The player is removed with the offense checked by the television match officials. If deemed a red card offense, then the player doesn't return. Uh, there's the other thing is removing the choke tackle, awarding a free kick rather than a scrum when a team fails to use it at a scrum, ruck, or maul. Wow! So that means the game will be, I guess, more fast paced and will be faster than before. The other thing is speeding up rucks by cutting the use it time by 5 seconds to 3 seconds, and restricting the number of players who can join a maul and time spent in the mall. Wow. So there you go, folks. I think this is a great initiative by World Rugby, and hopefully, probably, I'm not sure whether Super Rugby Aotearoa will be using these law trials in their tournament, but hopefully we can see some sneak peek somewhere in the near future. Amongst other things, I think I want to congratulate Kieran Reid on being honored on the Queen's birthday. Congratulations, Kieran Reid. Of course, he's a legend of the game. He's won 2 World Cups, and I think that honor says everything about Kieran Reid as a great All Blacks captain. And of course, I want to introduce the guests today, as we are talking about champions of development. We have three guests, one from Mongolia, and the other one from Kazakhstan, and the last one is residing in UAE, but he's from Tunisia. Sami. Okay, I'm going to introduce Sami first. Sami Smara from. He's currently residing in UAE, but he's a proud Tunisian. Sami, how are you doing, brother? Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak. Thank you, Rod. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much for hosting this. I'm good. I'm good. Everything is coming back slowly, but I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to be busy after this, as you have been heavily involved in the development of the UAE rugby. Coming in second, I would like to introduce Anastassiya Khamova, and she is from Kazakhstan, Almaty. Anna, how are you doing, Anna?
Hi, Rod. I'm okay, thank you. We are in quarantine, but we're good. Summer's coming,
That's
so it's
great.
very good.
So that means you are going to be really happy when summer is coming, huh?
Yes, of course. The weather is beautiful.
And for those who don't know, Anastassiya Khamova is, to me, you're a legend of the game. You've been you Anna has played in, if I'm not mistaken, 3 Rugby World Cups, Women Rugby World Cups. She's also a referee, and also Anna was the person involved with the IOC team, with the rugby, presenting to the IOC, International Olympic Committee, and she's one of the person responsible to bring back rugby to the Olympics. Yeah, and she worked together with Bernard Lapasse and also Jonah Lomu. So to me, Anna, you are a legend. So thank you for that. Thank you for doing that for the rugby community. You are awesome.
Thank you, Rod, for the kind words.
And last but not least, we have Austin Gansukh. Austin, he is from Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Austin, how are you doing, brother? Good, great to see you again after so long.
Yes, great to see you. Hi, everyone. Obviously, I'm very happy that Asia Rugby has invited me to this prestigious show or podcast, and happy to be here. As Anna said, we are also in the same position. We are under quarantine until 30th of June, so hopefully things will get back into normal pretty soon. So waiting for the summer and rugby.
Yeah, and of course we hope that everyone is staying safe, everyone is staying, with the lockdown that everyone is experiencing. Hopefully things will return back to normal soon. Malaysia is ending out. We don't call it lockdown, we call it the movement control order on the 9th of June, and I hope that everything will get back to normal. This is the 1st of June. We have 8 days more to go. Okay, you know what? I'm going to kick off the set of questions we have for our champions of development to Anna first, ladies first. So Anna, of course, you've been involved with 3 Rugby World Cups. You've been involved, refereeing in sevens tournament, in sevens World Series and stuff. But why did you choose your past to focus more on development rather than high performance?
For me, rugby is my passion, so that's why I decided I have to put rugby to a whole, especially in Kazakhstan, to get more recognizable as a sport.
Wow, that's great. So, talking about high performance and also development, there's is two different things. And I think I want Sami to comment on it, because Sami has been involved with the UAE rugby probably from the start and rise of UAE rugby. So why are you so passionate about development, Sami?
I think first is I believe in player that they can. I like to see player progression. It's more easy with the young generation or the young people to see the progression, and I think it's measurable in terms of number. Very, you can see the number of people that they come in the game and they have that passion of the game, and I enjoy that. And always I believe that rugby it's a good sport that with the good values that it can help to be better people, not just a rugby player. So I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed to see the number of participants and number of players that they play involved in the game grow. So it's one thing that I like it, and this is why I enjoy the development, we can say. Plus, there
Oh, that's
is some
great. That's great to
challenge with
hear.
the development. Yeah, with
Yep.
and I like challenge in general.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure there's a lot of challenges because you are involved with kids, and of course to control kids on the field is not you need a lot of patience. I'm sure, sabar. And anyway, Austin, we met each other a few years ago, probably in 2013 in Brunei, when you were the captain of Mongolia. So why did you decide to go on this path rather than keep on playing, or probably develop the high performance side of Mongolia?
Yes. Well, rugby. I began to be involved with rugby since 2002 at the different levels, obviously. But the rugby sport in a way has given me so much. I've met some amazing people. I've made a lot of good friends, and even like Anna, for example, I've known her for since I think 2009 or something. So, I mean, the community is so special, and I think, as Sami said, rugby includes a lot of great values. It demands individual skills, characters, and it builds characters. And I think. I think my opinion is that I owe it to the sport, this wonderful sport, and I'm glad that both World Rugby and Asia Rugby are doing really great job in developing the sport, and I think it's a really exciting time to be involved in the development. Obviously, not the coronavirus situation, but if things were going really well, I think. Obviously, this is a great time to be involved with rugby development, and I think also from development side of things, you get reward by looking at your youngsters, young players developing themselves, growing, and then that what gives me more motivation, and you see the improvement in players. So that's why I'm really passionate about growing the sport.
Yeah, I think the passion that you have, I could say is the equal amount of passion with Sami, as you guys like to see the growth of a player, being where you are in Mongolia, and of course, I'm sure this development will definitely continue and improve. Okay, coming back to development, Sami, that day we were talking about challenges, and of course you have faced a lot of challenges in terms of development from where you are. Can you comment a little bit on that?
Yes, thank you for the question. Actually, in 2012, when I arrived here, I remember I had a story. So I was being in school, one of the school in front of 250 Emirati boys, and I showed the rugby ball, and I asked, "What's this?" And
Mhm.
they told me, "Football American." So from that room, uh, and now I have a player that from the people that they was in the room, I have like 5 players. They play with the national team, and they are involved with me in development. So they go to the school and they help me to deliver courses and session. So the challenge when we face the challenges that we
Oh, sorry
faced in
about that.
that time.
Continue.
So the
Yeah,
challenges in
continue,
that
continue.
time, so yeah, for example, rugby is not a big culture for Arab community. They have football. Other than this, the Friday was the day off. It's a family celebration. So the family, Emirati family, they stay together. And all our games, general in the weekend, in Friday. So how to get them out to play and convince the parent to play rugby. Other than this, women here, the general the culture don't play in open area. So how to convince the parent to play in open area, and so all this challenge, um, it's a motivation for me to have more Emirati. And through the time, now last report from World Rugby in terms of participation, we have 148 participants in the program, 1,000 participants, sorry, 148,000 participants in the program. So, and rugby is in the curriculum. So I will explain more about the curriculum later if you want, Rod.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
And
so
I think UAE was ranked number 3 in Asia in terms of number of participants for GIR, or is it development?
yes, yes, in GIR. So World Rugby using GIR as a program to develop rugby, to introduce rugby to the new player, we can say, or a new people to try the game. So here in 2017, we include GIR in the PE curriculum and with the Ministry of Education. So we have like 300 this year. We have 2019, end of 2019, 375 school boys and girls involved with rugby. So here they use a
Mhm.
book for PE, like math and science. Maybe in other country they don't use it. So for PE, so it's good to have rugby in the curriculum. They go to the house, and the parent, they can have access and they can see it in the curriculum, and all the students, they can do rugby, boys and girls, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that means there's a curriculum in school for rugby.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
So they here, like most of the country, there is a unit of different sport for student, like a six. It could be been
Mm-hmm.
6 week general, and one of this block, it's rugby from grade 4 to grade 12, boys and girls. So and it's good to for us to promote the game. So not just for the student and even for them parents, so they know about the game.
Oh, that's great, man. That's really great to hear. Probably Austin, can you relate to that? Is there a similar program in Mongolia, or probably something that is a plan to for it to be in the future? In the education system for Mongolia.
Yeah, I think first of all, hats off to Sami. I think culturally, also religious-wise, I think it's also a challenging place, in my opinion, to also develop a very diverse sport. But for Mongolian side, yeah, we are actually working on getting rugby into curriculum activity, and obviously rugby, as Sami mentioned, it was uh, around 10 years ago. Not a lot of people understood or knew about rugby. So back then, they would also children would come up to our training, and then they ask whether it's American football, and then they ask actually where's the laces and so on. So that used to be quite funny, but. Yeah, and then after the 2, 3 consecutive Rugby World Cups, which we covered live in Mongolia, things changed, and a lot of kids started watching rugby. They knew about a lot of famous players, and then we worked on our youth competitions in the school. So we have our official youth competition, which is not part of the curriculum activity yet, but we are working this year on getting it through the ministry, same way as Sami did with UAE. So we are working on that in terms of youth, but thankfully, obviously, another thing we've managed to accomplish on our end is we actually officially got rugby into the Army Sports Championship. So, Army Sports Championship basically comprises all Mongolian Army units to play in a big few weekends consecutive sports activities, and that will feature sevens rugby, and this is their official program for this year.
Oh, that's great to hear, man. And of course, if you talk about development, it doesn't it covers all. It doesn't only involve kids at school, small kids, but it also involves the elder, not elder generation, or probably the 20s or 30s, because like in Malaysia, I could relate to that. In Malaysia, there's some guys in the army unit or probably the police unit. They play rugby full time. Probably they do some administration stuff in the office for the army or the police for a few hours. Then after that, they are full time rugby players. So, moving forward, I think that's a really great initiative by Mongolia Rugby, and hopefully that will continue to improve Mongolia Rugby as a whole. And in terms of and since we are talking about improvement and also talking about the moving forward, Anna, you have been involved in you are responsible, one of the person responsible to promote rugby to the IOC. What made you got involved with the rugby team that was promoting rugby to IOC?
So I was very honored to be part of such a great rugby team with the guys with the Gaspi shots, with the Cheryl, Humphrey, and Bernard Lapasa and Mike, and also the rugby legend, John Alomu. And it was fantastic achievement that the rugby included in to Olympic Games, and it was such a 3 or 4 months to prepare to the final IOC Congress, and it was 2 or 3 rehearsals with a lot of smiling, joking, and also work. So, and it was fantastic for me.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is. If you talk about, last time there wasn't any rugby in the Olympics. Now there is rugby sevens in the Olympics. So we have gone from leap to leap, and I think all of us should be thanking you as one of the people that was responsible for that. I still want to talk about that. So in terms of development, so how does this rugby being involved in the Olympics affects development as a long term?
So it's very important for girls because the girls on the same also were included in Olympic Games, and in Kazakhstan it's for government and for the guys on top. It's very important that the rugby is Olympic sport, and that means it's more financial support, more attention for you, and the main goal is for us is well, it's a kids, it's children, and we are starting from now. We are starting to train the rugby from 6-7 years old, and we're trying to include also GRR program to schools and inclusion rugby in Olympic Games. It's very helpful for this.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. And I wanna talk something about something different in terms of development of teaching different age group. Probably Sami, you can comment on this. How do you handle that? So you have kids 6 years old, 7 years old, then you have kids of 10 years old, then 15 years old. So how do you handle that to make it to make the training or to make the development session a successful one?
Thank you. It's a good question, Rod. It's important to be aware about the age actually with the student or the player, we can say. So here we have a different type of rugby. So we create like a pathway for the player to start from like a tag rugby, then to play quick grip or 10 aside, to go to the contact and to go to the full game, 15 aside or 7 aside. So with age, we break the age with the rules also. How many in the scrum, for example, or number of player in the team. So each age group have his rules, we can say, to play the game. The whole idea is to give permission for this player to have to enjoy the that experience first, and sorry, to have a safe environment first and rules, and second thing, to enjoy that experience. This is how we do it. So we adapt the rules and the of the game in the in the age for boys and girls. Yeah, to keep them in the game.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think the keyword there is enjoy. So because if you can't enjoy rugby, then it's very hard for a player to stay. Before I move on, I want to ask our viewers, if you have any questions, please do comment down below. We'll publish the questions and let our panels today to answer your questions. And also don't forget to like and subscribe the Asia Rugby YouTube and also Facebook page, so that you can get content like this, great content like this in the future. Okay, moving along, Austin, the current situation of COVID-19, coronavirus. How do you, and also GIR. GIR has the saying is try, play, and stay. So how do you, what's the plans to make a player stay at this current situation?
That's a tough one, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's first of all, from union side, we are taking coronavirus very seriously. Okay, I tell you why. Mongolia is geographically located right between Russia and China. So you can imagine that when coronavirus got into the news, we were the first one, obviously, in terms of proximity, that we had that risk of having coronavirus into Mongolia, because our export is predominantly impacted by China anyway. And then, so basically, since early February, government decided to shut all the transportation, well, transit travels and everything. So, and then we, as some of you may know, Mongolia also has lunar calendar New Year, similar to China, in a different day this year. But we didn't celebrate, obviously, due to coronavirus. So you can see that the government was taking it very, very seriously. And thankfully, because of those situations, we had very limited number of cases in Mongolia up until now, 185 or something, all imported. So that restricted all of our activities. Obviously, we've done our meetings and player-to-player discussions on social media, but it's still very challenging. And I think for the players, it's also tough because we have a lot of youngsters who come from countryside. So because the schools are shut, people can't do much at the moment. I think in terms of what we can do is that we can work on their understanding of the game, so we can show the footage and analysis on the game, coaching clinic through Zoom or all other social media platforms that we can use, and we're really basically waiting until things improve, conditions improve, because geographically, we are a bit far away from each other in terms of the cities and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a big challenge for everyone, everywhere in the world, of course, with a lot of restrictions. And as you know, what I mentioned at the start of this program, where World Rugby has to implement new rules and stuff for to ensure to minimize the infection of coronavirus or COVID-19. Uh, Anna, what would you do differently in terms of development in the future?
Oh, it's not something different. It is, we are going in the same way, but due to coronavirus, we are still training at home and via Zoom. We also analyzing game, as Austin said, and we trying to learn the laws of rugby, especially newest new one. And it's I think it's not it will be not a big difference between previously and the past. So, but it's something changed. I think, but it's all the same.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Probably there's a set of SOPs for you guys in terms of development. Facing this current situation, COVID-19. Okay, we have one question from Facebook. Can we see the question? The question is from Mahfizul Islam. This is to Sami, to brother Sami Smara. How TNE impacts on overall development UAE? Can you comment on that?
Yes, thank you, Mafizul, for this question. Of course, it go parallel to and go back in the original philosophy that we want. So we want a safe experience for this new player. So and training and education through for PE teacher at the schools or coaches after with the clubs is important to guarantee that quality of training for this new player, because we don't like that they have a bad experience, so they leave the game. So the training and education have a big impact in this. So plus the coaches, when they train the kids, they need to be confident. Especially here in UAE, we have coaches that they have experience for a long time with the in his life in playing rugby, and he could be like a CEO of a big company or could be in any other company. So he need that academic part to feel confident and to more in have the age group, like we talk, there is a part like we talk about long-term player development. In each age group there is a specific thing that the coaches need to think about it or take it in consideration. So training and education is important in different strengths. So in terms of coaching, match official, because they help to support and teach the new generation the rules and during the games. First aid also to make sure that the game is safe and the player is safe and during the session and in the game. Plus and strength and conditioning. So training and education is important, a big part here in UAE. So we focus on it to guarantee a quality of and safe experience for the participant. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sami. For a minute there, I was questioning what is TNE. So thank you for that training and education. So there you go, Mahfizal. Mahfizul Islam. Thank you very much for the question. Definitely. Moving, I think since there is the three of you guys here, probably we can talk something about rugby. As we know, I've read somewhere that the coldest capital city in the world is Ulaanbaatar. Correct me if I'm wrong, Austin. And you guys play snow rugby. So can you share a little bit about snow rugby?
Sure, my pleasure. Um, we the way we developed snow rugby was that before that I think I just have to quickly give you an understanding of our general calendar for the year. So fact is we are coldest capital, first of all. Secondly, it starts getting cold from early October until late April. So basically, that narrows down our possible window of rugby season. And then come July time, we have our Mongolian biggest holiday or festival called Naram, where the Mongolia itself celebrates this grand festival where three sports are played. So this is a big, major sporting event. So during that time, July is basically not a lot of activities can be done. So that cuts our season again in the middle. So basically, what we decided is that in Asia Rugby, our international tournaments come around May or June time. So that really, if we start training from May, obviously we wouldn't have enough time. So basically, snow rugby came to fruition in order to give our players the opportunity to begin training and start basically preparing themselves and getting their body into conditioning for that international tournament. But obviously, it's a great fun tournament, I have to say, because the first weekend of the tournament normally starts with a lot of snow. So you have thick snow. Second weekend, maybe it starts melting a little bit, and then in the daytime, and then in the night it freezes up. So obviously it becomes ice rugby. And then the third weekend, the snow starts melting properly, and then you have mud rugby. So it's a very nice, interesting spring sporting event for us, I have to say.
From snow to ice to mud rugby, that must be interesting. Anna, you live in Kazakhstan, and there's snow as well, right? Is there snow rugby over there?
Yes, we have snow rugby, of course, but in the north of the country, it's the temperature. It's very, very. It's about -30, -40, and it's not possible to play. But uh, this is we're trying to have the snow rugby games every weekend, especially for the kids, because it's just enjoyable. Just it's like a fun, and it's helped to guys to keep a little bit fit and to keep interest in rugby for the winter time, and it's always good, always fun.
I'm sure it is. So, for snow rugby, it's fun. How about Sami? Do you guys have desert rugby?
Not desert because it's too hot, but we have a beach rugby. So we organize beach rugby. So the teams they enjoy the game with the different format we can say of the game, and yes, plus the normal rugby, the different type of rugby, we can say 15 and sevens here, because general the season is from September to April. So when the weather is good, and to be honest, here in UAE there is a great facility, so there is no problem to play all different sport. General after in April, after the season is end, so the teams, the clubs, they try to organize something for the social, we can say, to keep enjoy the game. Yes, but not desert rugby,
So
not
I
in
think,
the middle of the desert.
yeah, probably we can
And we're
count the beach
lucky,
rugby
Rod.
as desert rugby.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Anna, you know what? Since you are the only woman here,
yeah.
can you share with us, number one, your rugby philosophy, your philosophy, and also your enjoyment? Why did you, transition from player to become a referee?
Oh, uh, for me, it's a big way to become referee from the player, but so I was during 2 or 3 years, I was both, so and the referee and the player, and it's very tough. But I like referee job. I like a referee community where also as a family, as a as a players. So and it's very good when you've done your job, you are happy, you are lucky that you referee all games good with a great players backgrounds, and it's for me referee it's a very good job, and it's helpful to become rugby more enjoyable, more interesting, and more safety.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And philosophy wise, of course, everyone needs to have their own philosophy in terms of rugby, in terms of being a player, and also in terms of being a referee. We have another Facebook question, and interestingly, now can we see the question, guys? Hold on. So this is from Facebook. So again, for Coach Sami, you're very popular, Sami. Yeah, you're very popular. For Coach Sami, from your experience as a coach, which is the best age to start to play rugby?
Which is the best? Sorry, say again.
Which
The
is the
question.
best? What is the best age to start playing rugby?
The best
Age,
age to start to
age.
play rugby. It's young age, of course.
Yeah.
More experience, actually. Um, uh, 5 years old, 6 years old is the best to go through the different level. That's why we encourage kids to start early. The whole idea is the player that will be in different situation, so it will help him to build that experience to go in the high level in the future. So more, yeah, but it's not mean that you cannot start rugby in any age. In 2012, when I arrived here, I remember there is one of my player. He started age 42. He was American player, senior. He
Wow.
started rugby. Until now, he's still involved with Alliance Amblers Club as a supporter, and he was been coaching. So in any age you can start, but the best is to start younger. So we call it a rugby family. So uh, anytime you join us, we are happy to receive you. We can say.
Oh, wow, that's great. That's a great story. And of course, we all should agree that at any age is a good age to start to play rugby. Austin, last week we had Michaelis on the show, and he was talking about the Mongolian Scholarship, and of course, you have been involved with this scholarship as well. Can you take us through the Michaelis Mongolian Scholarship?
Sure. Probably 2 years or 2.5 years ago, Michael contacted us or the union. So it was basically initiative from Michael's side. And I'll quickly explain how that actually came up, why Michael Leach was interested in Mongolians. So since 1995, I believe a lot of Mongolian young wrestlers went to, we're talking about 15, 16-year-old guys. So they went to Japan to find a new opportunity in terms of their sport. And then they found sumo wrestling. So just jumping from 1995 to 2003, we have our first Mongolian Yokozuna, or the grand champion of sumo wrestling. So he becomes the biggest star in Japan. And then after that, three consecutive Yokozunas after that are Mongolians. So I just looked at the numbers, and out of the five last Yokozunas since 2003, four of them were Mongolians. So obviously, sumo wrestling is their national sport. It's very, they take it very seriously. And then Michael himself mentioned to me about when he watched the sumo wrestling, he looked at the Mongolian athletes. We're not that big. We're not that huge, obviously, but we are agile, have the physicality and fitness and so on, endurance and everything. So he was quite impressed, and he was obviously he himself started his school in. He went to Japan when he was 15 years old, and then he completed his high school in Japan, and then he eventually became their junior captain, and then eventually the national captain. So he wanted to use his experience and give opportunity for a young Mongolian kid to change his life. So we started looking around for possible candidates, and then we done a few physical testing in terms of their sporting capabilities. We narrowed down the available kids to 20. We did the last few tests, and then I showed him the results, and we chose this kid called Narosambo. And then basically, so he's 16 years old, and we were to send him this year, and unfortunately at the moment he's stuck because of travel restrictions. So hopefully we'll manage to get him over there. But it's I think it's for a great captain like Michael Leach himself to give opportunity, just to even give that gesture of opportunity to a young Mongolian kid. I think that's just amazing, and I wish I was a lot younger, obviously, and yeah, but it's a great opportunity. Yeah.
Now I wonder if those three sumo wrestlers they convert and they became rugby players for Mongolia. I'm sure Mongolia would have one of the strongest scrum in the world. Anyway,
Yes, yeah.
you know, I think okay. I think this is the last question. I wanna ask Anna. Anna, of course, developments. If we talk about developments, there's a lot of volunteer work that is involved. So, how important are volunteers to the development of rugby?
So it's very important, and for Kazakhstan, we're trying to involve PE teachers to train rugby from start, from the 7 or 6 years old, boys and girls, and we also involve parents. This is a close persons to the kids and children. So it's very important because the rugby is it's volunteers. If you not have a salary from the clubs or from the government, and it's also volunteers. So very important, very important. Also, the referees and the managers, they are also volunteers.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I think if we talk about countries like UAE, countries like Mongolia, and also like Kazakhstan, like Malaysia as well, I think without volunteers, we can't really develop the next generation of rugby players. So I think we have to thank all these volunteers, like Anna mentioned just now, parents, teachers, former rugby players who volunteer, who give their time to give back to the community, to give back to the rugby community, to develop this next generation of rugby players. So hats off, and I think well done to everyone. Anyway, I think we have reached at the end of our show for today. Guys, again, our viewers, don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube and also Facebook page. And don't forget to press the little button. Where's the notification button? There you go. Like, subscribe, and also the bell button so that you receive future notifications from us. Thank you very much, Sami. Thank you very much, Anna, and thank you very much, Austin, for being on the show. You guys have been great, giving the insights, giving the development stories, your personal development stories that you have been involved with in your own respective countries. And I really hope to see you guys in the near future, probably after this is all has ended and everything is back to normal. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm Rod. See you again next week,
Thank you,
same
Rob.
time, same day. This is Asia Rugby Live, Real Talk, Real Rugby.